Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to the Geek Suite. I'm your host, the one and only Kid Nerbeen, and we're back for another Vlogmas 2019 video. Oh. Alrighty, my lovelies. As you can have guessed by the title of today's video, we're going to be talking about how for almost 2.5 decades, I didn't know what chestnuts look like. Alright, so let's get into it. But before we get into it, just a reminder, lovelies, please go ahead that like and subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our wonderful Geek Suite content. I'm so excited I get to wear all my wonderful winter wear, even though it doesn't actually get that cold where I live. But that's so not the point, guys. So not the point. Okay, so back to chestnuts. Alright, so now as I've mentioned in a couple of my earlier videos, I live in sunny Southern California. So while I grew up singing songs about roasting chestnuts on an open fire, I'd never actually done that or really seen any chestnuts sold in a grocery store. I'm sure they had them there, but I just didn't notice them. And I, being a millennial, grew up listening to songs on the radio, not on YouTube, where they have music videos and accompanying images to most songs. So I knew that chestnuts were a nut and that you ate them at Christmas time. I just never did. Cut to me at 23. I'm now living in Spain, and while I did grow up learning some Spanish living in Southern California, I was by no means fluent at the time that I was living there. Now, since then, I have gained some basic fluency and can hold conversations in Spanish, which you may notice that there are usually Spanish captions or subtitles on all of my videos. Now, again, I'm living in Spain, and particularly I'm living in Barcelona. And for those who are unaware, Barcelona is in the region of Catalonia in Spain, and in addition to speaking Spanish, because that's a nationally recognized language in the country of Spain, most people in Catalonia and in Barcelona speak a language called Catalan, which is similar enough to Spanish that I was able to understand most of it, but it is in fact closer to France, so the language is closer to French. So it's more like Portuguese than it is like Spanish. And a lot of the times when I was living there, I was working as an English teacher for a preschool. And so a lot of the times the teachers or the students would bring me things and say, "What is this?" And I would, tell them. Or they would ask me, "¿Cómo se dice, este," whatever they were holding in English. And 9 times out of 10 I would be able to tell them, or we'd be near a computer that we could use Google Translate to find the translation. But especially in the younger classes, they don't really use the computers but for administrative things, so they're not typically available for last-minute translations, and I don't typically keep my phone on me when I'm working. So as October rolls around, the Catalonian school and everyone around them start singing and learning songs about La Castañera, which we talked about in my Halloween special with my friends who came and visited me from Spain and specifically Barcelona. So La Castañera, or La Castañada, the name of the holiday, is essentially just a time of year where the old woman who lives up in the mountains harvests all the castañas, or chestnuts, and then brings them down to the town where she sells them on the street corner and roasts them. And so, we're singing the song and I'm watching them and I see the visuals, and they actually have real chestnuts in the classrooms for the kids to play with and learn about as they learn about this local holiday for them. And one of the teachers in like the 2 or 3-year-old classroom, brings one to me and she's like, "Oh, how do you say castañas in English?" And I was like, "I have no idea. I don't know what these are." I'm like, "I don't know, it's a nut." And so I say to her in English, I'm like, "A nut?" She's like, "No, I know, but what kind?" And I was like, "I honestly have no idea." And so it wasn't until later in that day that I had to Google, castaña in Google Translate, and it came up as chestnut, and I was like, "Oh my glob, you guys, these have been chestnuts this whole time." And so I told them, I'm like, "Chestnuts." And they're like, "Oh, como chestnuts on an open fire," because everybody knows that song, even if they don't speak English. And I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Well, how come you didn't know?" I was like, "Because I don't live nowhere cold. I didn't live anywhere where roasting chestnuts on an open fire was a thing. In Southern California, we try not to roast anything on an open fire because the state's always on fire." So yeah, that was how I went 23 years without knowing what chestnuts look like. Yeah. I felt so stupid. Like, I had a degree, a dual degree from a prestigious university, and my dumbass, they gave me 2 bachelors, and I didn't know what chestnuts look like. Alrighty, my lovelies, that's all the time I have for you today with story time. Be sure to check back in tomorrow for our following up Vlogmas 2019 video. Again, if you liked this video, be sure to hit like and click that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. And if you would be so kind as to share these videos with your friends on social media and, maybe suggest to them that they should watch. It really helps me fight the beast that is the algorithm and reach new viewers. And again, if you want to support this channel, we are having our Vlogmas 2019 Patreon special, where all of my lovelies who sign up between now and December 20th, in addition to receiving their level of Patreon benefits, which include things like early access to videos, access to exclusive patron-only content like bloopers, outtakes, and uncensored videos, the opportunity to vote in polls that help choose the content of our following videos, most notably the D&D 5e series, and if you reach the higher echelon of patrons, you get access to the Geek Suite Discord. In addition to all of these wonderful things, if you sign up during our Vlogmas 2019 special, you will get a handwritten Christmas or holiday card of your choosing from me, the Kidner Bean. Links to our Patreon page where you can find out more about that will be here, and a clickable version will be in the description section down below. Alrighty, my lovelies, thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. Which means that growing up, I sung songs about roasting chestnuts open on an... Wow, I just totally screwed that whole thing up.